Hello and welcome to KennyRoy.com. I'm Kenny Roy, and this is the Ask Videomail for the week of October 6th, 2014. Welcome to the site to you new members, and welcome back to you old members. The Ask Videomail is your chance to get your question in character animation or performance answered in a video just like this one, but I need your question if I'm going to answer it, so please send it to webmaster@kennyroy.com. I go through all the questions and I answer the ones that I think will help the most people. There's no such thing as a stupid question, and it is the best way to get the most out of the site. Speaking of getting the most out of the site, if you are a KennyRoy.com member right now and you've never taken part in the Anim Gym, then that is wacky. That is wacky. Okay, let me tell you why. Other schools charge $75. Maybe that's the old price, but they've charged up to $75 per critique for your animation. All right, $75 for a critique from a mentor or a teacher. Depends on where you're talking about. Okay, and the winner, the number one winner of the 11-second club gets a critique. Ostensibly, that's the person that needs it the least is the winner. But every single KennyRoy.com member who takes place in the Anim Gym, which is a 2 to 3 second, 48 to 72 frame test, takes place every single month. I post a topic at the beginning of the month. You turn it in by the end, and you get a critique. Every single person that participates gets a critique. Everyone, all of you, get a critique. So, speaking of getting the most out of the site, the Ask Videomail questions is a great way to get the most out of the site. Anim Gym is another huge piece of that. Big part of getting the most out of KennyRoy.com. I'm trying to offer something that nobody else is. Still think I'm doing that. Gotta pat myself on the back. 4 years, 4 years next month. It's a pretty good run. Okay? So, take advantage, okay, guys? That's all I have to say. This has been a public service announcement from Kenny Roy. Let's check out the question. Well, you know how to get me to answer a question is you say the word workflow. And then here we are. Monica, good question. Thank you for sending that one in. Twisting your character and pushing the angles. I can't imagine that this has much to do with actually getting compelling animation out of your character. Now that I really kind of have like nailed down animating with tempo, I really feel that it is the timing, it is our new idea for the way that something is moving, and not the poses that it goes into and out of that are really going to grip audiences. Poses that you hit and stick are made, the attention is drawn to them by the timing, right? Think about it. You know, Iron Man, when he lands in that, that 3-point stance, it's only because like he was like just like a tiny little speck in the sky like 2 seconds ago, then and then he lands and like he cracks the concrete and whatever, you know what I mean? It's the timing with the posing, but there's never, I just don't believe it anymore that there is a way that you can just by pushing posing improve your animation. I think that it is posing and timing together, or timing, that really is going to drive your animation forward, make you just a better animator quicker. But I did want to talk about one thing, which is that our eyes do straighten things out. Meaning, if you see like a person standing, okay, then you're probably going to draw them very, very, very kind of like straight forward. And it, like, depending on which leg that they're standing on, there's not going to be actually much interest to the pose when you draw that person. you do want to always, when you're thumbnailing and you're deciding on your poses, to try to get interesting angles, rhythm, what Mike Mattiese calls force, into your poses. And what that means is that, like, if you have a character that is, standing on one foot, well, then you want to really push that. Okay, so instead of having them just like that, you want to kind of like pick a very dynamic, and maybe you're not going to be able to get this into your character, but you want to get that sort of that dynamic in the hips that's really going to make your character feel like that they're really leaning on one foot or something like that. So kind of that as a concept in terms of like what you asked about pushing your character or twisting your characters and pushing your pose. I think that does apply. One thing though that you should be thinking about as a hireable animator is to think about like where you're focusing and how you're playing into the rest of the thing you're working on. One thing that really kind of feels that makes a shot feel like it's a one-off shot in the middle of a student reel is when everything, even the camera, maybe especially the camera now that I think about it, but everything is at a dead halt at the beginning of a shot. Start your shots with a moving camera and don't have it like, just like ramp up to movement. Have it like in motion. Okay? Have your characters in motion at the head of your shots. Or at least if you don't feel like animating it like that, animate and then edit it together with your characters in motion in the middle of your shot. It just shows a higher degree of understanding of editing and motion and working within like the confines of a film, hookups, that kind of stuff. I think that everybody should, if they have the time, do a short film of any length, be it a 20-second, 30-second, 40-second short film, or 5 minutes if you have that kind of time. But if you can't do that, then at least have your shots feel like they come from the middle of a film. And in terms of twisting and pushing, I'll tell you a story I think I've told you guys in a couple of lectures, but it bears repeating. One of the first shots that I finished on Kong was a shot of Kong like leaping off of the rock wall in the vine sequence where he's grabbing onto the T-Rex that's just about to eat Anne. And he stretches out, and I put him in this like really rad pose. And he was totally stretched and like craning his arm and whatever. I bring it into the animation director's office, sits down, he watches it, and he says, "That's great." And I'm thinking to myself, yes, but he says, "But I'm saving that." I was like, oh my God, what does that mean? I've never heard that. And then it dawned on me, he was about to make me tone down my posing, because later on in the film there was a moment that was more appropriate to have the posing choice that I had chosen, that I had gone with, than the shot that I had, which meant that all the pushing and whatever that I had done was not appropriate, was not going to get into the film, was not the right choice. So to answer this question sort of from another angle, no, don't push and twist your characters. Don't take them and find every opportunity to have like the craziest, most stretched pose and bend and like this like insane like configuration of their limbs to get this crazy silhouette and whatever. It's if everything is dialed up to 11, then that's the new baseline. Right? It's like you're an actor, and all you can do is stomp out onto the stage and scream your lines. Okay? That's not subtlety. That's not performance. That's just trying to take all of the rules that you understand and push them 100% of the time. Okay, so if you've had the advice given to you to push your poses, it may be because your poses are kind of straightened out, whereas they should probably be a little bit, stronger and a little bit more interesting. I mean, like this. If you just look at this, this has like no line of action to it. It has like this straight, like, it looks like this guy's about to be executed, right? Whereas if you have, a character with like, a really dramatic line, right? They're jumping in the air and they're reaching out for something. You get this arm back here, and I don't know, maybe one leg is kind of like crunched up like this, and the other one's kind of down like this, pointing outwards or whatever. You get this really, you're moving, you're starting with movement. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that, like, posing alone really doesn't actually give you what you need. Posing alone is, the best poses convey motion. The best poses, you can freeze frame on them and tell exactly what's happening in motion. So without that timing, you really don't have the whole picture. So if you received that sort of blanket statement that you need to do more twisting and sort of like pulling of your characters, then my feeling is that you're probably not starting with enough motion in your poses and not enough exaggeration for your own sake of like where the angles are in the character's body. So for instance, like a hip, like maybe push that a little bit so that there is a better conveyance of the weight and sort of like the center of gravity of the character. But in general, no. I would not say that this is advice that should be blanket followed by anybody. Timing is really the key. Timing really is what we're hired to do. Not posing. You used to have to be a really, really, really good draftsman to be hired as an animator. You really had to be. And that was back in the day of 2D. And even the 2D that's done this today, you don't need to be as good a draftsman. You do need to know how to draw, but you have a lot of tools and libraries that will help you stay on model. So it's a little bit of a different game these days. So that being said, that's more advice I think for sort of like an older time than it is for us right now. So anyway, I really appreciate that question. It's a great question. Thank you for sending it in. Don't forget, send in your questions. I give out 2 free days to the site. I add it on, I tack it on, boom, right to the end of your subscription. It's a great way to earn free time around here. Stick around a little bit longer. Participate in the Anim Gym, maybe, if you can. I have a lot of fun. Hope you guys do too. CTN's coming up. Look for me there. Walk right up to me. Okay? I don't care what I'm doing. I don't care who I'm with. Okay? If I look like I am like delivering a message of DEFCON importance to the president, walk right up to me and stick your hand in my face and say, "Hi, Kenny. I'm whatever your name is." Okay? Don't say my name. Say your name. All right? I want to get that straight. All right. It's been fun. Thanks a lot. I'm Kenny Roy. Good luck with the animation. As always, rock on.